to 29 mil. So it's got 23.2. It's got 34 mil. What the hell is going on? This is probably the most mysterious, the weirdest thing I've ever experienced on a scope. Alright, I was not expecting to have to film this, and I am, mildly speaking, shocked. I'm actually almost lost for words, because I have been in contact with Element Optics and their customer service team, and I have been told by Element Optics that if you don't have enough mil in the Element Optics as they give it to you, you haven't set your system up correctly. That was their message to me. I will put my entire correspondence with Element Optics in the description, and I'm not gonna put any filter between what I wrote to them and what they wrote back to me, but basically they promise 29 mils in the turret, which means that I also expect to get 29 mils in the turret when I set my zero at the very bottom of my scope. I always do this because I always need the maximum amount of mils to go as far as I can. Now, with the Element Optics, I was very, very confused, literally. First I thought, well, I have 29, as they explain in their literature. Then I thought I had 35, because actually you can take the turret off, go an extra revolution, and you have 35 mils. Then I thought this is kind of weird, because I only get 23.2, which is 2 revolutions on the turret. So I contacted Element Optics and asked them, what's up? Can this really be the case? And their response to me was, yes, you only get 2 revolutions of windage adjustment, and most shooters don't zero their rifles at the very bottom of the scope. Okay, so I wrote back to them, well, still I should have 29 mils when you promise 29 mils when zeroing at the bottom. Is this really correct? Have I understood this correctly? I reached out to them and tried to have them call me, because often I think that the oral correspondence is less likely to have any confusements or misunderstandings or misconceptions or whatever. And they wrote back to me, yes, this is correct. If you don't have enough mils with the 23.2 mils we provide in the 2 revolutions, you haven't set up your system correctly. Now, my 338 Lapua Magnum runs a 300 grain Lapua bullet. It's about 860, or actually not about, it's 860 meters per second, and that is a relatively fast bullet. I can get to 1800 meters with the 23.12 mils provided in the Element Optics, which means if I have to go 2 kilometers, which I relatively often shoot, I have to hold over in the Element Optics. I don't have to hold over. They could have just given me the extra mils that are actually in this turret, but they have chosen not to do so. So I have to hold over. If I go to 2.4, that's also a relatively often shot. 2.8, I can't even go to 2.8 with the Element Optics because they don't give me the full range of elevation in their turret. Now, I don't know if they're going to change this or not. In the correspondence I had with them, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like, well, if you can't use it, not our problem. If you're not happy with the 23 mils, you're doing something wrong. So, yeah, please watch the rest of the movie, make your own conclusions, do your own deduce your own thoughts on the Element Optics. Theos, I'm lost for words. I have no idea what is going on. I've never experienced this kind of correspondence with not just scope manufacturers, but anyone, stating that, yeah, read the description, read the correspondence in the description. I'm going to link to everything that they've sent back to me and everything I've sent to them. So, now, that was a little rant, a little, whoa, what is going on? Now, let's go into the movie and let's see what's up. Do your own conclusion from that. So, enjoy. And here, it's a beautiful day at the range. Range is hot, and only thing left to do is to take some shots. We're going to do that today. First off with the Element Theos 6-36 by 56 in a spur mount. We're going to be putting that on a 6.5 by 55 Swedish and see how it performs. Alright, I'm doing this with hearing protectors on it because the range is hot, as you hear. Always makes you look extra sexy. So this is the article in question. It's the Element Optics Theos 6-36 by 56. And we're going to be putting that in a spur 6mm or 20.6 MOA mount. It's the SP4601, and we'll be mounting it all on a 6.5 by 55 Swedish in a spur 6 chassis. All very nice. Let's start at 600 and work our way out. Now let's go directly to 900 is 9 mils on this system, so see if we can get that. Okay. This is the Element Optics Theos. This is a 6-36 by 56 FFP scope. See, it says so right there. I'm not making it up. It's a scope that costs so much that it puts itself right into the Super Scope series part of scopes. It seems quite dark, and that might be because I've put a piece of equipment in there that came with the scope. Let's try and take that out and see how it looks when we take out that adjuster thing that blocks out some of the light. So let's go like this. I'm going to go over here so you guys can see what I'm doing, because on the Element Optics Theos, in the box you get a sunshade, which is nice, but you also get a small piece that takes the objective diameter from 56 to 40 millimeters. And let's put that back on there and see what kind of difference that made on the picture. Let's see. Actually, quite a bit better. What we're looking at here is the target at 2K, 2 kilometers, and it's actually quite clear. I like that. You got quite nice elevation turrets that go to 29 mil, go 5.5 mil under. You get a scope where there's a little throw knob on the second revolutions. So on the second revolution, that little lever there comes along and flips over and shows you that you're on the second round. That's kind of cool. It also shows you with this little step up here that you're on the second round, and you continue upward, onward and upward. And this has been zeroed to my 6.5 by 55, so we don't quite get the full 29 mil that this has in the turrets at this time. So looking at the picture downrange, once we've taken that 40 millimeter objective reducer out of there, it's actually got quite a decent picture. It's letting through quite a bit of light, which is cool, and it's actually letting through quite a lot of light, and it looks crisp, it looks clear. The eye relief on it was kind of finicky. It was kind of hard to find. You had to be right on where it wanted you to be to see anything through the scope. That kind of sucked, but that's not uncommon. But you know, the parallax adjustment goes down to 10 meters, which is quite unusual for a scope that also has a parallax that goes to 1,000 meters. 1,000 meters, 10 meters to 1,000 meters, infinity and beyond. That's quite unusual, and I find that relevant if you're going to put this on an air gun to shoot 10 meters. I kind of think that would be overkill for an air gun, but I guess if something's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. It's kind of always been my motto, especially when building stuff. When you go to full zoom, that's real fast. One thing that I would have liked to see would be that the throw lever here, or the throw knob that's included in the box when you buy it, if that had been, this is about 10 mil, if it had been 20 mil even, then you could have used 2 fingers on it. And that would have made it even easier and even faster to go from 6 power to 36 power. I really like that it is a toolless design. So you take this cap off, make sure not to drop it down these slots because then it's going to be gone forever. Take that cap off, take this off, and you can adjust your zero stop in this. You have your zero stop, I guess, is down here, together with this little lever. And that's really cool. So you can set your zero stop wherever you want. You can go all the way up there, and then it'll go down. You can go up there, and it'll go down. And that's at the very bottom. It can't go no further. So I'm going to set that at 5.5 under. Screw this back in, making sure not to drop it. There we go. And then we can try and see going to 10, 12. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23.2. So it's got 23.2 mils of adjustment, of internal adjustment. You get a 34 millimeter main tube, you get a 56 millimeter objective housing or bell up here, and you get a quite decent sized turret. I like that a lot. Overall, the turret looks to be built in a good quality. These are Swedish, so it's their neighbors. that make the Element optics. This, I believe, is made in Japan, but all Element Optics is a Swedish brand, so it does not come in flat pack like IKEA, but it does come in a rather nice box. And I think that we can do the rest of this at the bench. So let's go there now. Alright, normally I would be at the bench talking about a scope at this point in time. I don't think I'm going to do that with the Element Theos, because in my book it's out. I'm still going to give it the scores that I have decided to give it when we were at the range, but this entire deal with the turrets, with the elevation turret not giving you the full 29 mils that they promise, and that they're aware of this, is such a big issue to me that I don't see any reason to keep working with this. Illumination, I found out that is a push button. It had to be, I guess, activated or used a bit for it to work. When it has been activated and it works decently. I'm going to give it a 7 because the illumination is really good. It's bright enough to be able to see in daylight, and it's a little bit too bright to be usable at dusk, but it's okay. The push button, I'm not a big fan. I like the throw lever thing, so that's going to be a 7. The parallax is still a 9. I'm still very impressed with the parallax, that they've been able to do a 10 to 1,000 and beyond parallax on the Theos. The turrets, the windage turret is still going to be a 7, also because it's a little bit too small for me. It's a little bit too narrow, or it's not sticking out enough. Had it been the size of the protector, then that would have been fine, but it's not. It's inside the protector. The elevation turret, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what to do about that or what to say about that, because in one sense I would give it a 0, because it's not giving you what you've paid for. It's not giving you the 29 mils that I would expect when I buy a scope, put it at the very bottom to get out to 1,000 plus meters, and it doesn't give you that. So the clickiness and all the other stuff, I would give that probably give that a 7, just like the windage. But because of the major issues, I feel that the 2 revolution stop that is, I'm not even going to score it, and if I am, I'm going to give it like a 0 or a 3 or something like that. The eye relief, I'm going to give that a 4. It's finicky, it's hard to find, it's hard to hold on to. The glass is actually quite good. It's Japanese ED glass, so that's an 8. Out of the box, it's not an issue at all. The zoom, I'm going to give the zoom a 9, because it's really, I like the tautness of it. It's nice and easy to work with. It would have been nice with a little longer throw lever, but you can just make that. It's an M5, I believe. Overall, I'm going to give the Element Optics a 5, and that's a big 5, because it's such a big issue with the windage, or the elevation turret. 5.8 mils are missing when you zero it at the very bottom. I think that's going to be it for the Theos. Make sure to read the correspondence I've had with Element Optics. I've linked to everything I've transcribed everything in the description of the video, and we'll see if it's something that they change. I hope it is, because it's actually it's a big shame that it wasn't good. I was expecting more. I was really expecting more out of the 636 by 56 element optics, but you win some, you lose some. But anywho, that's the jizz on the element optics Theos. Make sure to subscribe, and make sure to share. I want this to get out to as many people as possible, because I think I'm the only one talking about this with the weird elevation turrets. Anyway, until next time, stay safe and stay tuned.